This is Kilo 9 Romeo Mike Romeo. Repeat, this is K9RMR, currently monitoring.
Welcome to the N9JWR repeater system net on Tuesday at 7:30 with JCARA 73.
K9RMR, currently monitoring.
To the N9JWR repeater system, PL tone 103.5, Edinburgh in Shelby County. Have a great day, 73.
K9RMR, repeat, Kilo 9 Romeo Mike Romeo, currently monitoring.
K9RMR and N9TLF.
N9TLF, K9RMR, go ahead.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking about this repeater earlier, so I just thought I'd flip over here and see what it sounded like.
Well, your signal is 5x9. What's your QTH?
I was able to check the repeater with my HT, but I couldn't really actually get in very well with it, so I switched over to the bigger radio here.
Okay, well, it sounds good. The bigger radio sounds good, so your signal is 5x9, no problem.
Is this repeater, like, is it right in Edinburgh, or is it, like, out in the country somewhere?
I'm not sure exactly. It's not too far from where I'm at. So I'm in Taylorsville, so I'm probably a mile or two away. So I'm not sure exactly, but it's approximately about a mile away.
I'll try you with the rubber duck here. You may not hear me, but wait a second. We'll see what happens.
Okay, go ahead. I'll be standing by.
Yeah, I could hear it a little bit, but it's just really weak. I'd have to have a better antenna if I was going to use the HT instead of just that rubber duck.
Yeah, you're hitting the repeater, but all you're getting is I'm just getting the little no audio, just the you are breaking squelch, but that's about it.
In here are the 075, so it's the same PL tone as this one, so I just moved the dial a little bit to 025, and there it is. It's almost full scale here.
Well, I'll tell you what, I got mine's I got 5 watts here. I'm QRP, and I went from the rubber duck on mine to I got a 15.5 inch antenna, and which is almost, not quite, but almost double the rubber duck that came with the radio, and it does make a difference. So I mean, and I think I spent with shipping it was like $15, and it does make a difference on the TX and the RX as well. So for 10 or 15 bucks, you might. I mean, it's worth the investment, small investment.
Yeah, I got an older Lenco HT. It's probably 20 years old, but I've had to replace the battery. But other than that, it still works real well. It's if you put the smaller battery on it, it's 2 watts, and if you put on the big battery, it's 5 watts.
Well, I do, like I said, for I've got on mine, you can go for 5 watts, 3 watts, 1 watt, or a half watt. And I talked to Noel in N9CJT on Simplex. He's in Columbus, and I'm in Taylorsville on 1 watt, and it came in. It was real good. We tried a half a watt, and it wasn't quite as good. But on 1 watt, like I said, from Taylorsville to Columbus, I didn't think that was too bad. So, like I said, I've got a 15.5 on mine, and it does pretty good. Like I said, I usually just leave it on 5 watts, to, make sure I'm in there really good. But I like my little handheld. It's pretty nice. I wish I had some HF capability, but aside from that, I've had it for a little over about 2 years, and I'm enjoying it.
Have you heard Marion on here lately? I didn't. Just thinking about him the other day. I didn't know if he was still active on the air or not. WD9HTN.
No, I'm usually recently, at least for the last couple of weeks, I haven't, with the exception of some nets, I haven't been on a whole lot. So we just had the net on the other the Columbus repeater, so I was on that, but I haven't been doing a whole lot. I don't have any, like I said, don't have any HF capabilities, and I'm saving some money now to get an HF radio. But no, I haven't heard him for a while. So Noel N9CJT, he talks to a lot of people, and Joe talks to a whole bunch of people too. K9OPL, they might have talked to him because they're on there a lot, but I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, he used to live out in the country, out there on Sawmill Road, and then I guess they moved to, I don't know if it was an apartment or what it was, but they're supposedly here in town now. And I used to work over at Target, and he'd come in there shopping every now and then, but I retired a couple of years ago, so I didn't know if he was still coming in there or not. So I just wondered if anybody heard him on the radio.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, I don't shop at Target a whole lot, but in fact, I haven't been there for, well, of course, since the pandemic started, I haven't really been a whole lot of anywhere as far as shopping, that kind of shopping anyway. So at least not very much. So I haven't heard. Like I said, I haven't heard anything. So at least not recently.
Yeah, I wish I was still there. I just saw on the news where they all got a $500 bonus the other day.
Well, that must be nice. Last time I was at Target, I went in to get some ink for my printer, and they were completely out of ink. And I have a cheap printer, so I figured, well, I'll go in there and just get maybe get a new printer. Because the printer, like I said, I think I paid $30 for the printer. The ink costs more than the printer. And I thought, well, I'll go in. If they don't have any ink, I'll just buy another cheap printer. And because usually in fact, they usually when you buy the cheap printers, they come with some ink already with them. And I went into Target and actually several other places, and they didn't even have any printers. I mean, their whole printer selection was gone due to the virus. Apparently, they weren't either making them or weren't getting them in, or I don't know what the deal was, but they didn't have any. So, like I said, the last year's been interesting.
Yeah, it's probably because everybody's working from home right now, so they're had to have printers to print out everything. And you got those cheap printers. The people used to buy those. Like you said, it was cheaper to buy the printer than it was the ink. So people would buy the $30 printers just to get the ink, and so the printer company got wise to that, and they still give you ink with the cheap printers, but it's not full. It's only like maybe a third or half full. So they're trying to get people to not buy the printer just for the ink.
Well, the one I've got now, like I said, it's a cheap one, and they have the ink that came with it. The printer can do different size cartridges, and they provide a small one. But I mean, you can buy different size ink cartridges for. I think there's just two sizes. They're like a large, and I think they called the other one a jumbo. But yeah, I did that one time, and in fact, I got one printer out in the garage that I just basically opened it up, pulled out the ink, and put the printer. Didn't even take the printer out of the box, and it's perfectly good printer. It's just there's no ink with it, and it's just sitting out in the garage. But Because like you're right, it is. I was doing that for a while, and at the time it made sense. But like I said, ink. I don't know why it's so expensive, but it definitely is. Last time I bought ink, it was like almost $100 for a black cartridge and a color cartridge. Of course, the one I've got now, because it's cheap, they don't have the 3 individual colors. It's just got one that's with multiple colors in one cartridge, which I don't like as much. But again, that's what you get when you get the cheap printer.
Yeah, we had a Kodak printer for a while. We bought it because the ink was cheaper than the HP and all the other ones. It was still kind of expensive, but it was the least expensive. So, but then that died. So we finally ended up just getting a $90 Brother laser printer. Then it won't print anything in color, but you get like a $15 toner cartridge off of eBay, and it'll print 2,000 or 3,000 pages. So it's been a long time since I even had to buy any toner for that thing.
Well, a while back, I went to the I don't know, it's the store. There's a computer store over there behind East High School. I can't even think of the name of it now, but we went over there looking for some ink, and that was one of the places we went. I went like Walmart, Target, Office Max. Office Max had a bunch of supplies, but they didn't have the kind I needed. So there was, like I said, I knew of the place. I forget what the name of it is, but it's behind East High School. And they had one of those all-in-ones, where it's a copier, scanner, printer, which would have been nice to have. But it was, and it came with the black toner, black. It was a laser printer too, and it was like $200. I was a little shy on cash then, but I almost had enough, so I almost decided to do that, but I didn't. Because I agree. Color is nice, but it's not something I have to have. So I may here in a little bit go and get one of those, but because I don't have a scanner. I used to have a scanner copier, but one of those that did all in one, but it broke down. Like I said, when it broke, I just got the cheap one. So I don't know. It is what it is. They're gonna get you. They're gonna get your money somehow, no matter what you do.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Midwest Computer. It's over there by the bowling alley on State Street.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, we got my wife's computer there. It's doesn't even have a brand name on it. I don't think. They just make them there in the store. They get hard drive and the motherboard, and you tell them what kind of computer you want, and they just make it right there in the store, and it works just as good as the HP, if not better, and it's cheaper. So that might be the way to go.
Well, I'm a Mac user, so I bought mine directly from Apple, and like I said, I've had it for several years, and it's pretty good. I really enjoy it. I've been through. The only really problem I've had with my iMac is the hard drive. We had to replace the hard drive after about, it's probably 2 or 3 years. But aside from that, aside from having to replace the hard drive, it's been a really good computer. So it's not cheap, but it's like I said, aside from the hard drive problem, it's been a really good computer.
Yeah, the Sarah has that Windows computer. It's got Windows 10 on it, but I do have an iMac computer here. It's right in front of me. 3 years old. Didn't have any trouble with it for a long time, but then right before Christmas, the motherboard burned out or something. They had to put in a new one, so that wasn't cheap, but it's a lot cheaper than buying a whole new iMac. And they had to order it, but it just took a day or two to come in. And I went up to I was going to have it fixed at the Apple store, but they had like a 2-week waiting list. So I ended up going to that other Apple dealer called the Mac Experience over on 86th Street. You ever heard of that? It's like an authorized Apple repair center.
Yeah, I've heard of them. I've went up there. They used to be in Indianapolis. The Mac Experience. I don't know if they're still up there. They've still got a store up there or not. The one we went to last time was in Bloomington. It wasn't the Mac Experience. It was an Apple authorized dealer. It was a small place. It wasn't anything. I mean, it was nice, but it was really small. But they did a good job, and I'd been having problems. I didn't realize it was the hard drive that was screwing up because it was still doing stuff, and I mean, it would still work, but it was like really, really slow. And I was like, I didn't know. I got on the phone with the Apple technician guy, and they didn't know what was going on. And I spent like 4 or 5 hours one day talking to the guy at Apple Computer in California, and they had no idea what was going on. I went up to this place in Bloomington. They hooked it up to their computer, and within like 3 minutes, they knew exactly what was wrong with it, which I thought was pretty cool. Because the people at Apple in California, they were telling me to do all kinds of stuff, and it was like, it was unreal. They were doing screen monitoring and trying to see what they could see from there. Anyway, they didn't know what they were doing or how to do it. But anyway, like I said, went up to this place in Bloomington, and like they hooked it up, and like seriously, within like 2 minutes, they knew exactly what was wrong with it, and so we got it fixed up there, and basically just had to replace the hard drive. So, like I said, aside from that, it's been a really good computer.
They have one in Bloomington and one in Indy, and I went to the one in Indy. I don't know if it's any closer, probably a little farther actually, but they do have 2 stores, the one in Indy and the one in Bloomington. But I heard of the one in Bloomington, but I've never been there. So anyway, I use that time machine backup all the time now. I got an external hard drive, and it backs up the computer every day. So if my hard drive ever does die, at least got copies of everything now. I can always put it back later.
Well, I don't use Time Machine, but I've got a external hard drive that I mean everything that I need backed up. I back up probably maybe every 2 or 3 months. I'll dig out the hard drive and plug it in, and the files that I need to back up, I back up. But that's about all I do, because I mean, like I said, as long as I back it up every couple months, I'm not too worried about my files. So that's kind of what I do. I've seen this demos on that Time Machine, and of course I've got it on the computer. I just don't have a hard drive. I just don't have a hard drive hooked up to use it. But it looks pretty neat. I've seen videos on how to use it and stuff. So I just prefer to use, like I said, I can back up my stuff to the external hard drive every couple months, and it seems to work fine.
Well, the Time Machine uses the external hard drive. That's where it stores its backup. So, like it backs it up every day, and if your whole computer exploded or something, you could just get a new computer and hook it up to that external hard drive and say restore from Time Machine. It'll just put it back exactly like it was on the other computers. The same way like iPhones back up, only it just does automatically. You don't have to think about it or remember to do it or anything, so it comes in pretty handy. Well, I'll let you go then. I just thought I'd try out this repeater and see how it worked, and because I've never been on it before until I heard you guys talking about it earlier, and it sounds fine over here.
Okay, I'll let you go as well. Well, they had turned this repeater on like a couple months ago, and then after about a month ago, maybe, I'm just guessing, I'm not sure exactly when, but it quit or died or something happened to it, and apparently they've worked on it and fixed it, and apparently last week they turned it back on sometime. So I didn't know it had been turned back on until just tonight. So I was checking it out, and like I said, it's good talking to you, and I'll let you go. This is K9RMR saying 73. Good night, God bless, and I'll be clear on your final.
Okay, same to you. Hold the fort down there in Taylorsville, and I hope that report was wrong about it getting down to 0 this weekend. We'll have to check the weather forecast and see what's going on. So have a good evening, and we'll talk to you later. 7-3s and 9TLF clear.
Well, they're saying it's going to be cold and probably some snow, so we'll see what happens. Who knows? The weather people are right some of the time. Hi. K9RMR 73 clear.